All right, so welcome to the weekly Wednesday Team Prosperity meeting. This week, we're going to talk about the second half playbook, looking at the back half of this year, regardless of either what we have accomplished or what we have not accomplished up to this point. How do we capitalize on the back half of the year to make the year in total a success for us? So remember, as we move through the next number of weeks, we're going to come into late August through, right around Thanksgiving. That is an extremely important time period for a business like ours. So you want to capitalize on that time period, but that means preparation now. That doesn't mean that we're going to start activity at that point. It means we're going to start doing stuff now to prepare for that. So last week, you guys, we talked about executing, making it happen. Successful people are a catalyst. They make things happen. And that's how you really want to lead your organization. You want to be that focal point of energy. They're driven by passion and by their dreams. They're determined to take action and make a difference. They're not content to sit idle or procrastinate. They infect others with their passion and courage. So making it happen is not about just you. It's about leading the way and trailblazing a path and setting up expectations for your people that are coming in your organization. So they're energetic, they're bringing the activity, they're doing what they need to, and that commitment that we made to each other to form a successful relationship. So like I said, this week we're talking about the second half playbook, some things to keep in mind, some things that you need to understand, and just some self-inventory. What's working for you, what's not working for you, and if you're not progressing in your business or you're not as far along as you thought or you hoped you would be, what are the reasons for that? So first of all, we need to understand that right now, you don't have to deal with a lot of problems on a macro level. There's a lot of wins right now kind of behind our back. In time right now, there's no better time in history to do things like what we're doing, to become a marketer, become a networker, become an entrepreneur. So you need to understand if things are aligning, kind of stars are aligning for this opportunity, then that's the first thing that you check off the list. Hey, I'm in the right place at the right time. And then secondarily, if you're going to make the type of money, which you come into a business like this to make, if you want to be a 1%er, you want to make $500,000 a year, then what you have to understand, in order to become the 1%, you got to do what the other 99% are unwilling to, or what they want to do. You got to get outside that comfort zone, and you got to start talking to people about your business, like we talked about couple of weeks ago, the why of your business, the mission of your business. Get people interested in buying into you and your mission first, companies, products, and services on the backside. One of the things that we have to take into consideration is your time as an investment. So let's take, for example, let's say that you went and did some type of consulting job for the back half of the year. What are you worth? What's your time, hourly, salary? What is the amount of money that you would make over the next 6 months going into year end? Put that as an investment into your business, because if you're not over there doing that and you're doing this, you got to understand there's an opportunity cost there. So you have a business investment. It's a lot easier to get motivated when you understand, hey, I do have an investment into this business. It's time. It's the opportunity cost from not doing anything else. This is a great place to be. But if you're just going to sit around idle, you're just wasting your time. So we're going to talk about a couple of things here that are really, really important. When you're talking about business management, you're talking about planning, you need to understand that time management is probably our biggest obstacle. That's the thing that's going to really punish us the most in terms of revenue, income recognition, growth that we're looking for on a personal or professional level. So when you look at time management, you look at going into the day, if you can learn how to run the day instead of having the day run you, you're going to start to see that you have huge benefits, in your business. Things are going to start to align correctly. You're going to start to recognize the revenue and income. You're going to start to build on the partner and client side. But if you don't have effective time management, if you're just kind of like what we call a drifter, you're just day to day, whatever happens, happens. I'm on Facebook at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, just kind of scrolling. Well, that is robbing you of your goals, of your income, of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Time management is something that you have to get a hold on, because if you don't invest the time, then the return on that time is going to be nothing. Also, you have to have energy management. This goes along with time management. Remember, your energy, the way that you feel, is going to be variable each day. Some days we feel good, some days we don't feel good, some days we have things going on, extraneous kind of forces that are keeping us down. Whatever it is, you have to show up. You got to show up daily. Like I said, you've got to kind of fight through those bad days. Not every day is going to be great, but what you have to do is show up every day, because if you don't, there's no such thing as really being a part-time entrepreneur. We have ways that we can bridge over to full-time entrepreneurship, but there's no such thing as a part-time entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a lifestyle. Entrepreneurship is something that is ingrained in you, that you want to do. This is your business. You're always thinking about it. And that in itself should bring in a certain amount of energy every day. Find something to get excited about in your business every single day. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but you do have to find things to get excited about. And then performance management. Remember, if you are not out there setting goals and you're not tracking your goals and you're not looking at where you are, you're not being accountable, well, that kind of speaks for itself. You can see that's a business model that's going to implode on itself because there's no data. We're not making data-driven decisions. We're just emotional about stuff. We'll have some activity, we'll back off, maybe put some more activity into there, get frustrated. You need to make sure your performance is so that it's constantly being checked by you, so you get better at what you do, because the only way you can coach and mentor other people is to get a hold of yourself. Fix yourself first, and then it's easier to help other people fix themselves. Your goals, little goals, invite excuses. So if you want to make an extra $2,000, $3,000 a month, that's a small goal. I think you should aim bigger than that. You can't give back to, charitable contributions, to things that you want to do, unless you have a surplus. If you make 40 grand and you spend 40 grand, there's nothing left over. You make 200 grand and you spend 90 grand, there's money left over. So understand, your goals and your success really should be your duty. You should feel like, hey, I've got an opportunity here. I can create wealth for myself, and I can create opportunities to help other people who might not have had this opportunity. And accountability, remember, you have to be accountable every single day to yourself. And then you have to encourage and kind of almost demand accountability in your organization. The more accountable everybody is, the easier it is to get to everybody's goals, to understand what's working, what's not working. If no one wants to be accountable, then it's just a disaster. It's a complete mess. And then you have a lot of people not even understanding what to do, why to do it, how to do it. And then people are just drifting. So you have a lot of people in an organization, but there's no money being made. And that's just basically like a social club. It's not what we're looking for. And then you have to have mission management. So one of the things that's very, very, very important is getting addicted to your mission, understanding what your mission is, being able to talk to other people about your mission, your vision, being able to sell that. We're not selling products and services here. We're selling visions, missions, education, things like that. If you get addicted to helping people, which is really why you should want to come into a business like this, because you have a solution that you can bring to the masses that makes a real difference. But when you're looking at this, you have to get excited. You have to get excited about helping people. Once you get addicted and obsessed to helping people, the rest of everything else will take care of itself in terms of the monetary rewards for your day in, day out work. And then the daily management. This is stuff that every single day, in the second half of this year, you need to be kind of dialed into to make sure you understand how to get the most out of this time of the year that you possibly can. So remember, activity is a must, but intention is a must too. Just having like indirect action and activity, not really aimed at anything specific, not really going to get you, in the target zone. So you have to have action with intention. And then you got to set up, like we always talk about, targets and objectives for every single thing that you do, whether it's a phone call, a text, social media post. Be at the end point already. What am I trying to get out of this phone call, text, social media post? And then organize your thought process and your activity around that end point. How do I get to the next action step? How do I lead that person to where that I want them to go? That's called targets and objectives. If you don't know what you're trying to hit, how do you know if you're hitting it? And then the procrastination part of being a human being can really slow us down. So remember that planning, preparing, it's not just about sitting around doing nothing in terms of procrastination. Sometimes procrastination is veiled, and it's veiled in the planning and preparation. I'm going to do this next week after the 4th of July holiday. Well, now I'm going to wait till the end of the month. Next week, I'll wait till school starts. So you're always kicking the can down the road. And by never performing, you never actually get to where you're trying to get to. So just go out there and have the activity that you need to and learn from that activity. You're never going to learn, unless you're on the battlefield. So planning, preparing constantly will never get you to the point that you need to get to. You got to make the moves, action every single day. The only way you get past the learning curve, the only way you get over the fear of talking to people on the phone or in person or whatever it may be that's holding you back, is to actually do it every single day. That means pick up the phone, dial, talk to people. And we've made this as easy as possible. We're not asking you to pitch, sell, recruit on the front side. We're asking you to come from a position of power, give away free stuff, free guides, free education. That's how we'll build the business. But if you're not out there introducing these things, then that's going to be problematic. If there's no input, there's not going to be an output. And if you're just sitting around, and if you don't think that you can go out in the marketplace and give away free stuff, probably not going to be the business for you. And remember, inside that activity, income producing activities, because at the end of the day, you have to have something come back to keep you interested. If you're making absolutely no money in this business, how excited, how energetic are you going to be each and every day? You get energetic by two things: getting to your own personal goals, and then watching your clients and your partners get to their goals. Combination of those things creates an excitement, and that excitement will just kind of build and compound on top of each other. Every single day, that small stuff that you do, whether it's having a negative impact or a positive impact on your business, the long-term effects of that can be detrimental, or they can be very, very positive. So understand that what you do today, what you do in the next hour, what you do at 7 p.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow, all of that cumulative effect of what you're doing or not doing is going to create either the outcome that you want or the outcome that you're probably trying to avoid. The busy versus effective. So understand, we can work really hard in our business, or we can work smart. Same thing with the activity. We can be busy or we can be effective. Busy just means kind of we're spinning our wheels. We don't want to get to that top tier activity because it's uncomfortable. However, that top tier activity is going to make us money. So you can be busy and broke, or you can be effective and start to earn the type of money that you're probably looking for yourself, your organization, and your partners. And you got to put time on the phone. If you never go to the gym and you have a goal to bench press X amount of weight, and you never go there, and all of a sudden you just go in the last day expecting to do that, it's not going to work. Same thing here. If you're just expecting to be some expert on the phone and having this, skill language that's clear, concise, that's articulate, that you can, continue direct conversations with, that's going to come from having some terrible conversations at the beginning, not knowing what you're talking about, not really understanding the flow of communication, not being able to answer some of those questions people have. But understand, you're not going to get to the good conversations without the bad conversations. There's a learning curve to everything. Being on the phone, talking about yourself, your business, your brand, something that you have to do. And the leads are going to come in. If you learn to talk about your business, a lot of people say, especially in financial services, that lead generation is a big deficiency, thing they struggle with. But once you understand that the way we've organized this, that leads are basically everywhere, no matter if you're talking to somebody in the warm market, a loose affiliation, the common market, whether you're talking social media or the cold market, leads are everywhere. Because you know why? Because we're not trying to find a needle in a haystack here. We've got a solution to a big problem that the masses face, and it just boils down to your business, especially in the very beginning stages, is a contact business. If there's no contacts, there's no business. If there's a lot of contacts, there's going to be leads and there's going to be business. That'll help you grow your business. But you sit around, just like I said, idle, procrastination, planning, preparing. The easiest way that you're going to get through that, initial survival period is to get out on the battlefield and start talking to people, start, getting through the learning curve and getting to those points where you feel comfortable in conversations. One of the things that will drain your energy, crush you mentally sometimes, is the bad habit of trying to prove yourself to everybody. If somebody doesn't believe in what you do, doesn't like your business, move on. You're not going to gain anything by arguing with people, reasoning with ignorant people. It's just not possible. So disqualify as soon as possible. You have to remember, a lot of people are considered herd mentality, population, nearly everyone. So a lot of people out there with fixed mindsets, you don't want to spend your time, that input value of your time every day, arguing with people. They're going to have no outcome except a negative one. So disqualify those people, be nice, move on, forget about them. The difference between marketing and networking is that marketing is direct, networking is more like an open conversation. Both of these are good. Both of these can create leads for you if you know how to effectively, position yourself in both of these. No matter what you're doing, you have to follow a schedule. So if you're talking about being successful, if you're talking about a second half playbook, then you have to have a replicatable process that you can teach other people. So your communication strategy, what are you doing online? Where are you sending people? What's your social media strategy? How do they all connect together to form that web of information that creates your brand, the positions of like value on the front side with what we're offering. All of this stuff is very, very important. If you do the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes easier for you, becomes easier for you to teach other people. Always be obsessed with next action steps, call to action. So if you're sending stuff out and you look at it, and if you were to receive that and there's no way or there's no direction or call to action or next step, what are you doing? Remember, we're thinking about that endpoint as we're formulating whatever it is, the text, the conversation, the social media message. You have to have a next action step. You have to have a call to action. If you don't, you're just putting out information, and that information is received on the other end. They really don't know what to do. They read it, digest it, and move on. You haven't given them further instruction. And if you're going to do what we told you to do, if you're going to go out there and you're going to contact people, you're going to create leads, what separates a high earner from a low earner is going to be the ability to be organized and the ability to follow up. Remember, if you're not following up, or if you do those typical lackadaisical, maybe one attempt and then forget about the lead, you are wasting, or you are leaving a ton of business on the table. And that starts to mount up. Too much of that is going to be detrimental to your business. So you have to follow up. And the stats, people lie, numbers don't. Stats tell us everything that we need about follow-up. If you're not following up with your leads, if you're not getting on those leads in a timely manner, if you're just allowing automation to run until it's stale, with no personal contact in between, that's problems. Remember, if you fix the problems in the pipeline and it's running efficiently and effectively, then the outcomes are there. If you're just kind of sporadically or indirectly throwing stuff against the wall, then what can you really expect on the backside? And then what can you teach other people? Connecting the dots every single day, guys. This is what you're doing for your clients. Remember, on the other side, where are you now? Where are you trying to get to? What are you willing to do to get there? And how do we fit in? Same thing on this side. You're connecting the dots for your business, because it's so important as you build an online business. Remember, entrepreneurs wear a lot of different hats. You have to think about, if you're running a full-scale business, marketing, managing, education, sales, how do I make this better? Connecting the dots, making this better for yourself, your clients, for your partners, always opens up more and more doors for yourself, your partners, and your clients to take advantage on multiple levels. Second half playbook, really, you want to be the best that you possibly can be, because if you teach other people how to create agencies where you squeeze out low and middle performers into a smaller basket of high performers, then what you're going to have is the velocity that you create in your business is going to be enormous. You can have small groups of people, high performers, do more than hundreds, if not thousands of people that are basically doing nothing. So understand that you need to become a high performer and then teach other people how to become a high performer, because as you're out there in the different markets, as you're attracting people, those attractions, those contacts for business partners and clients, they're like bricks. Those bricks are building what you want. If there's no contacts, there's no bricks, there can't be a building. Same thing on the other side. If you're having a ton of contacts, those are a ton of bricks. Your business is going to be built a lot faster. So understand that your primary goal and focus for the second half, if you're trying to get your business to early stages of growth, is just learning how to contact and talk about what you do and why. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for a certain percentage of your agency's growth. And you can look at it as a pie, as a number, whatever you want to do, 30%, 3 out of 10. If you are responsible for 30% of your agency's growth and you come in at 0%, What do you expect? Same thing. If you come in and you miss something, come a little short with your agency and that fell on you, two things. You have to be responsible for what you've committed to, which is 30% of your agency growth. The other thing is your people that come in are going to be looking at you. If you're not in the top tier, if you're not hitting bonuses, if you're not making money, they're not going to start looking at you and really taking your advice seriously. And then once you start to lose, the respect of your agents, it's over, because everybody's going to go out and start doing separate things. I know best. I know best. And if everybody's doing separate things, there's no chance for a distribution model. Your sales pipeline is so important to build, manage, and teach other people. You have to make sure that if you're running into roadblocks, whether they're, preemptive roadblocks where, hey, I'm bad at time management, I'm bad at organization, I'm bad at follow-up, you need to make sure you kind of self-inventory and hockey check yourself and get on the right side of that. Eliminate your own problems, fix yourself, get out of your own way. And then once you do that, it's about just fixing little things here and there as problems come up. You just have to stay on top of things. Don't let things, compound negatively. For example, if LinkedIn is a source that you go to for communication on the client and the partner side, and you're not posting, you're checking in maybe every once a week, it becomes like a heavy task and you become overwhelmed, a lot of notifications, a lot of messages, and you're like, screw it, I don't feel like doing this right now. If you're checking in 5-10 minutes every day, it becomes a lot easier to manage a platform like LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever it is that you're working with. You've got to get out of your comfort zone the second half. And if you're kind of staying in your shell, can't expect big things to happen. You got to wake up the sleeping giant inside of you, because this information, this education, these products and services are needed like never before. People are desperate for financial control, creating peace of mind, control for the future. Technology makes this easy. Understand you have things that people need. You're just not going to skip to an end point. So you've got to have discomfort in your life. That's a huge advantage. You can't skip those steps to success. It's a process. You got to trust the process, hold the vision, and realize that first introductory period is a survival period. You just have to make it through that. But if you're not trying to survive during that period of time, probably going to die off professionally speaking anyway. Your clients want confidence, commitment, and the correct tools. So you have to understand that we are planning for the best and preparing for the worst for our clients. We're not just giving this hypothetical situation in the future. Hey, we might be able to get here. Let's take a chance. We're looking at both sides, what could potentially happen that's great or bad in our lives. And you guys have to understand that when people give you, one of the things that you want to work on the second half is reading people. Things like, let me think about it. That really means like, hey, I want to stop thinking about it right now. So once you start to understand these typical phrases that people give you and read through those, it's a lot easier to, like I said, continue and direct those conversations. Just be a problem solver for your clients, for your partners, yourself, and, like I said, a solver. You're looking for the solution. Don't dwell in the problem. If you create an agency where everybody dwells on the problem, it's going to be a nightmare. If you create agency growth where everybody looks for the solution to get rid of the problem, then you're going to have the opposite effect. It's going to be, a magnificent build out for you and your partners. You got to have courage, guys. And in the second half of this year, if we hit, we might already be in a recession. If we hit a recession, if the stock market goes down more, interest rates start to rise, you need to be out there. Hey, if this is happening to you, we've got answers, we've got solutions, we've got education, we've got people that will give you their time for free. But if you're going to make a big impact, which I hope that the people coming in are looking to do that, you've got to have courage. And as you look for partners, this isn't something where, hey, if I surround myself with 100 people, I know I'm going to make it. You're looking for partners and teammates, not spectators. So champions don't show up to get everything they want. They show up to give everything they have. So if you've got somebody fully committed to the cause, the mission, they're a good person, they've got some professional skills, this is a dynamic opportunity for the right people. This is a non-opportunity for the wrong people. Don't bring in the wrong people into your organization, because once again, that time investment, you get nothing on the backside, is 100% wasted. And then keep on building, keep on learning. If you're, willing to learn, nobody can stop you. If you're unwilling to learn, there's nothing that you can do to get anywhere you want to go. You got to compress timeframes, and you've got to look at these cycles. Sometimes we do the 12-week year. We're going to have one starting again at the end of August to take care of that very important 12-week time period leading up until right before Thanksgiving. But don't look at things in prolonged periods of time. Compress time frames. Go through a 90-day madman cycle. Take action, massive action. Remember, unless you're aggressive, everything's wasted. You're writing your own script. So remember that you're writing the start, the middle, the end. So you have complete control over how this turns out. And that goes all the way back to what you start to do right after this meeting. You need desire, dedication, determination, concentration, the will to win. This is what you're looking for in partners. This is what you're looking for to dig up out of yourself if you're in a rut. But like I said, the easiest way to get this recipe for success is really getting dialed into what we do for the client. Once you understand the power of what we do, that gives you energy, that propels you, because now it's not about making a sale, it's about changing someone's life. And that makes a big difference in your head and the way you approach marketing, sales, management. Henry Ford said, if I asked the people what they wanted, they would have told me faster horses. So what we're out there doing is we're teaching people that you're locked into a system that's designed to rip you off. So don't give them what they think they want. Give them what they never thought was possible. That's what our business is about, really taking people's situation and taking it from where they are now to a desired endpoint with a straightforward path, eliminating as many obstacles, roadblocks, blind spots, and along the way, as variables come up, doesn't implode the whole thing. So we've got something that, an outsider looking in, when they see end results, might think that was not possible. We know it's possible. Math matters, algorithms matter, code matters. So that's all I've got for this week, guys. I just wanted to give you some things to think about going into, like I said, this summer period where people are taking vacations, kind of slowing things down. Push your foot on the accelerator, get ready for a really important 12-week time period, but we're not looking to start there. We're looking to ramp up right now and accelerate even faster at that time period.